just watched MKBHD's video about the Google Pixel 4a, and if you've been paying attention to rumors very much, then you would have an idea of what the specs are. Around a 3100 milliamp hour battery, the same 12 megapixel camera that we have on the Google Pixel 4, Snapdragon 730, 18 watt quick charging, 60 hertz, 1080p AMOLED display, and at a $350 price point with 64 gigabytes of non-expandable storage. Now, I want to talk about this in two kind of spheres. The first one is in the American market, because it feels as if Google is making a lot of these devices in a vacuum for the American market. Now, for those of you that are not familiar with it, if you are in America, it's very, very common for carriers to subsidize your cell phone plan and pay basically part of your cost of a cell phone. So for a lot of people, if you're signing on a 2-year contract, $350, that brings it to like $12 a month or $13 a month, give or take, on top of the cost of your cell phone bill for the new Google Pixel device, which is going to take fantastic pictures. And in that vacuum, the device seems like it's a really good device, especially because it'll probably be taking pictures slightly better than the iPhone SE. Now, the two things I kind of want to focus on that the average user in America is going to care about, right? The first is going to be the camera. When they compare the camera of that $350 device versus the camera of the $400 iPhone, for still photos, you're going to have a superior phone at a lower price point. Now, the area that is next important for that is going to be performance. Now, one of my criticisms of the Xiaomi Mi Note 10, which had the Snapdragon 730 as well, when it came to processing images, there was stutter, there was lag in regards to the raw image processing. If you are going to be snapping a bunch of photos, or if you're going to be using the night mode on the Google Pixel 4a, you might see a slowdown in performance if you're taking multiple images back to back to back. Even at 12 megapixels, the amount of computational photography that Google's doing still might lead to that being a less than optimum camera performance. I know that my assistant has the Google Pixel 3a, and he says that the camera performance is pretty good, but the UI isn't always smooth and fluid. The next thing I want to point out is comparing that to the iPhone SE, which has Apple's top-of-the-line current chipset on the market and is going to yield power users better performance, possibly at the cost of battery life. Now, at a carrier store, $350, great camera, coming from a big brand like Google, it makes a relatively compelling purchase. The problem is that the Google Pixel line of devices are enthusiast devices. You don't have the average consumer walking into a store looking for a device from Google. You have them looking for devices from Samsung, from Apple, even in a lot of parts of America that are less developed, Motorola, bigger brand names within America. And Google having their name on a device just kind of cements it as a more enthusiast device. Now, the problem is that outside of America, there are tons of other options at $350, and enthusiasts or people that would be aware of the Google Pixel 4a are more likely than not also going to be aware that you can sideload Gcam, and that Gcam, and the reason why the Google Pixel is such a great camera, is large in part because of software that is non-proprietary, and after the founder of Gcam went to Adobe, it's possible that we're going to be seeing that kind of computational photography on a ton of other devices. So in the vacuum of the American market, this does not seem like a bad device, but for the international, the broader scope, I think this might be a bit of a harder sell, especially to that enthusiast fan base, the people that are aware of ROMs, people that are aware of sideloading APKs. I think they're going to look for better and more powerful hardware from other brands and then just deal with the software themselves. This leads us over to kind of a bigger overall issue with the Pixel brand, and that is that the Pixel brand is seemingly laser focused in on the American market. Google is making these like semi-enthusiast devices more mainstream for more consumers. The problem is that once you go outside of the sphere of America, people are more savvy consumers, especially in markets like India, the Philippines, Malaysia, markets that have been dealing with cheap Chinese hardware and having to come up with their own workarounds for software. They have been dealing with this kind of stuff for a longer period of time. And Google trying to take this product in a vacuum and sell it in other markets, I don't think it's going to be that successful, especially not when we have devices like the OnePlus Nord, which will get Gcam. Let's make that abundantly clear. That device will get Gcam, and the IMX586 sensor that's in that device, as well as the, I should take a video of this to show you guys how much this is moving. Also, hit the subscribe button because I'm probably going to stay up late and do this for you. But especially because the camera software on the OnePlus Nord has been on the OnePlus 8 for a while, and Gcam devs and other developers have been working on specifically getting the most out of that camera software. My Xiaomi Redmi K20 Pro, the Xiaomi Mi 9T had the same IMX586 sensor, and with Gcam, back last year, that device was taking great photos. And even then, when I compared it to the stock camera on my Poco F2 Pro, I've probably got a video of that somewhere, search my channel, I didn't see that big of a difference when comparing Gcam on the K20 Pro to the stock camera on the Poco F2 Pro, which then just completely takes us back to the argument of software development for slightly older hardware is going to lead to results that can compete with modern hardware and premature software. So that is my take, that is my reaction on the Google Pixel 4a. It seems like a one-trick pony aimed at only the American market and only enthusiasts in the American market. And I don't know how well this is going to do outside of America. Let me know what you think of this device, but tell me what country you're currently living in and what you think about it in the comment section down below. Till next time, it's been Mitchell. Peace.